All right, so here we are. We're actually going to try a podcast. Working title, The Studio Window. So, welcome to the Studio Window, where we look in Michel-Paul's artist studio window and we look out of it at the city of Hallowell. Right. And so, here I'm Dave from away, and here is the talent,
Oh, the
the
talent. Thank you.
talent,
Thank you.
Michel-Paul.
I'm enjoying sitting in front of the window because I'm actually seeing people walking by right now. The snow's gone. It's 50 degrees outside. So, yeah, that's why I'm
You
sitting.
got a great tableau going there, and I'm afraid I'm going to crop too much out of it at some point. So, hey, Michel-Paul, how are things going up there in Hallowell, Maine?
Not too bad. It's warmed up since the last time I talked to you, and things have been picking up.
Yeah,
I'm getting some like impromptu paint classes, and yeah,
yeah.
things are,
So,
things
so
are
we'll
good
get
for
to
this.
that, but you've been working on that street scene, man. Like I was
Uh,
there in February, and you were working on it. How's the street scene going?
it's going. Every time I think I'm done, I'm not. I'll revisit it. And so I've been working on it probably, I'd say probably about 5 months before Christmas. It's um it's one of those that I haven't done too much of doing buildings. So the perspective and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I was overthinking it for a while and now I'm happy with it. Right. So I'm trying to finish it up. There's just a few
Right.
tweaks I have to do with it. I'm happy with it. The gentleman that commissioned me to do it is happy with it. He did see a picture of it I'd say probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. And he did come in to see it in person. And he was like, oh my gosh, I love it. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. So since then, I've been tweaking it a little bit. And I'm getting there. I'm hoping by the end of this week, it'll be done.
Tell me the story of how they got you. How did this guy get this commission for you?
It's kind of like how I met you guys last summer. I was just getting ready to open up the studio.
And some
And
rando just walked
yeah,
in.
and I was
That would be
standing,
how we.
yeah. And I was sitting in the window, the studio window, hence the name. There we
The
go,
name
right?
may be growing on us.
It may be growing on us. But anyways, I was sitting in the window and I think it was like June or July. It was just before we had our opening. And I was kind of getting the place, set up and I was working on a few paintings. And as a matter of fact, it might have been the loom that I was working on. But this gentleman walks by and he pokes his head in. He goes, what is this place? And I said, oh, I introduced myself as Michel-Paul and explained to him that I was going to be opening up a studio. And he's like, oh, I just bought this beautiful home up on the hill. And he goes, the family that owned it was the Hayes family. And he goes, from what I understand, they had a bakery in Hallowell many years ago. And I found a picture, or I have a picture in the home that we bought of downtown Hallowell. Looks like it's probably in about the 70s. And he's like, and I would love to have a painting done of that. And he's like, and here I stumbled upon you, right? He goes, I was just walking up the street and here's a studio. So he's like, would that be something you'd be interested in? And I said, yes. We started talking about the Hayes. And I'm like, I know that they were in this town. I'm not sure which building because I've only had the building a year and a half. And so we started talking. He goes, well, I'll get the photo and I'll come back in a couple of days and just show it to you. So in the meantime, I did my homework and I kind of looked into the history of the building. And this was the Hayes Bakery that he was talking about. So it was really, really cool. So I kind of like waited a few days and then he stops by. I see him walking up the sidewalk and he comes in. His name is Paul. And he comes in, he goes, here's the picture, shows it to me. So he's standing inside the studio and he's like, God, this is such a cool space, right? And I said, yeah, I said, we love it. And then he notices the stairs, the imprint of the stairs on the back of the wall. And I'm like, yeah, he starts talking about, goes, that's a really cool feature. And I said, well, that's how they used to go upstairs. I said, when this was the Hayes Bakery. And I just kind of grinned, right? He looks at me, goes, what? I said, yeah, I did my homework. I said, this was the Hayes Bakery that you want me to paint. It was the weirdest thing because he thought it was like a couple doors up. So he's just like, okay, that's it. You are painting this for me. So he couldn't believe he was standing in what used to be the bakery. So that was pretty cool. So I took the picture that he gave me. It's old. It's the only picture that he has. So I went online. I did find the exact same picture. And so I'm working off of it, off my phone. I just took a picture of it. And that's what I'm going by. But anyways, he loves it.
It's coming along. I've been.
It is.
You were working on it when we were there in February, and
Yeah.
so we saw
Yeah.
that.
And So when he came in last, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks ago, he's like, well, there's no hurry. I said, well, I'll probably have it done by the end of March, 1st of April. So he's due to come in soon. So I want to finish it up because I just keep looking at it and going, I need to do this, need to do that. But I think it's done.
Well, that's cool. And I am going to be looking forward to your next thing. In fact, I think next time we talk, that picture behind you there, Monhegan,
Yeah, you
that
know
looks
what?
really good.
I'm
That's
doing that
still wet, right?
It is wet. I'm doing that in between. It's in the frame right now. I had this old frame. I just wanted to see how it looked in a frame. So,
Right.
as a matter of fact, this morning I was working on it a little bit, but it's just a basic path going through, on Monhegan Island that I captured years ago.
Yeah.
And while I was working on that, and in between doing paint parties, I always like to have another project going to just, to keep me painting. And I was doing the structures of the building. I'm like, I just need to do something loose where it's just like a path or some trees that I can just get
Right.
lost. So that's what I'm working on there. I've also
And
done
speaking of paint parties though, you said you had the impromptu paint party.
last weekend.
Yeah, what happened with that? Like
Well, it
there's
was just,
Texas is involved in this story somehow.
well, yeah, Texas is involved in this. I have a little painting that's going to be going to Texas, but this gentleman called me and he and his 2 girlfriends, he goes, I know that you advertise your paint parties being from 4 to 10 or 12 people. He goes, but there's only 3 of us. But is there any way we could come in and do a paint party tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. It was on a Friday. The paint party would have been Saturday afternoon. I'm like, sure. So we booked a time and I said, what would you guys like to paint? He goes, well, they love, love mermaids. And he's like, actually, one of the ladies has a mermaid tattoo. So I said, we can do that. I'll make something up and I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. So they came in and there was just 3 of them. We sat down and we had a blast. We were just painting mermaid and so when we were done, I did the mermaid bag and I posted it on Facebook. And someone in Texas, a friend of mine that's on Facebook, happened to see it. And she's like, where's that painting? Where'd that come from? And I said, well, it's something that I just painted. I said, and not just doing canvases, but I also offer canvas bags. I said, people are trying to, with recycling now and not using plastics in grocery stores, we paint our own bags. And I said, that's what they wanted to do. And they wanted beach bags. So I said, this is what we paint. She goes, I have to have that bag. I'm like, okay. She goes, well, my granddaughter's name is Ariel. And we love, of course, The Little Mermaid. And there's a new movie coming out. And is there any way I could purchase that and you could send it to Texas? And I'm like, absolutely. So I just finished it up yesterday. And I think I just took the last picture of it. It's finished. And I'm going to bring it down to the post office tomorrow and ship it off to Texas.
There you go.
So, just a little paint party. And then all of a sudden it turns into a piece of, it's acrylic paint and it washes well. And I find that a lot of the people that are doing paint parties now, especially repeat customers, they have 2 or 3 paintings done on canvas. And then all of a sudden they're trying to find something else to do. And we didn't want to go like paint wine glasses or whatever. We wanted to stick with the canvas theme. So then I found these canvas bags and that's been a really big hit right now because people can use them. They're using them for gifts and it's a fun.
And that's the thing is, because these, we have to say at the paint party, it's not you painting the paint on the canvas. It's them painting. Right. So,
it's totally different.
What you paint, you might not put on your wall. I know if I painted something, it would not go on the wall. I'm barely allowed to paint my own walls from Ori.
Your painting would work fine on a canvas bag.
I don't know, but on the canvas bag though, Okay.
And that's what it is. I mean, my paintings are oil that I do. My own the paintings that I have in the frames and stuff. But my paint parties, that was just to introduce. I want people to just like love art again, and I just want people to feel like they can paint, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to want to do it. And I have the perfect spot for it. So I'm like, instead of having a place where people are going to paint with 20 or 30 other people. There's plenty of those, bars around, and they're awesome. I love those places. And but I just wanted something a little bit more intimate where we can sit 4 to 10 people right here in the studio, surrounded by the art. So we talk about art and they get inspired. And yeah, so it's one of those side things that I've been doing that is really taking off. So I'm hoping this summer.
And so moving on to, if we're gonna we got to get started, like, okay, segment. We're just two guys talking. But what do you got? Your Monica down at Maine local market's trying to rope you in, I hear.
Well, she has. There's so many things going on right now that I've been approached by a few people. But Monica just recently, last week, came to visit me. Her and Tom own the local market, and they have the river room on the back side, where they have a nice, beautiful bar, and you can eat food overlooking the Kennebec River.
Yep.
So yeah, so I've done one paint party there for her. I think it was like in January it was February actually. And we talked then about perhaps making this like a bi-weekly or a monthly thing or quarterly or whatever. And we hadn't talked about it anymore. So she came in last week. She goes, I really want to do it once a month. So she's like, I want to set it up where you do the painting here in my lounge bar, whatever. And I'll offer cocktail or include cocktails and some appetizers. So we're going to do a monthly thing there. And I think what she really wants to do is this summer, and you've seen the place out back.
Oh my God.
Outside. Yeah. So we're going to set it up. Oh my gosh. She has that outside patio right on the river. So we're thinking about doing paint parties out there.
Yeah. We watched the fireworks on Old Hallowell Day from down there.
Yeah. So that's something that's going to happen. Definitely.
Yeah. It's been a little cold there lately.
Too cold right now to do it. But hey, she's got the perfect spot inside, Doing that, going to different businesses, though, it doesn't have to be done here. I mean, I've actually done a paint party at the Maine house for Leah a few years back. Yeah. So
we got stuff going on. I mean, Leah just had her gin class, and actually, let's take a look. We actually have some footage of that.
And then the cocktail foam, when I first started working with it, I would get those like whipped cream, things that they use, when they're making their own whipped cream at restaurants or something. And it comes with little silver, you have to buy them, like these silver bullets, and once you screw it in, it punctures it, so it ignites that gas. It was so inconsistent, and they're not cheap either. So it would drive me crazy. I'd be slammed in here, and then it was like someone did a whip it. It would be all runny. It wouldn't work. So what I use is I use a Ninja, and that actually works really well. You can just pump it, and it is consistent every time. So I'm going to use pear prep.
So this is something she just did like last week, or
she did that, and that's her gin class. And first of all, I think it's very nice that she's kept Lori's and my seats empty at the bar, because that's right where we sit. But the gin class, she teaches people about cocktails, and she makes these craft cocktails. And I'm actually looking at some of the video I've got of her, and I'm going to be like pulling out her little things, but I'm going to try to get her to do little how-tos, to put out there.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Because she just uses weird stuff in interesting ways. And
her drinks are amazing.
Yeah,
and she has art there too. I mean, everything. This town is just perfect.
She puts the art on the wall. She
all about for arts, drinking, and having just eating out. There's so many places.
I really feel like my mission this summer is to kind of bring that out a little, and to just kind of point out, like we were just talking before this, and you're like, what's the Italian restaurant you were talking about?
Cafe Milliard? Is that how we say it? I think, yes.
All right, but extra slice, and
yes,
I'm like,
it's new. And it's
new. Wait, all right. So should I not feel bad that I didn't know about it?
No, you didn't know about it, because I think you're just learning about it. But they just did a dinner last night. I think it was Tuesday night. A 5-course Italian meal with all the wines paired, and I haven't heard anything but rave reviews. So I've yet to do it, but I think they've only been open maybe 4 months.
Oh, okay. Now I
We'll
feel
have
better.
to show it to you when you come to
There's a whole
town. Maybe
restaurant.
we'll just have to, we're just going to have to go to all these places, right? And
Yes.
that's what it's all
Yes,
about.
we do. But so but the paint party, that sounds really cool down there. And I'm looking forward to more because Leah's those things sell out. Like you gotta Leah, her classes, they're like $75 a head.
They
And
do. They sell out.
but I'm pretty sure you're gonna get drinks. Her drinks are, that's not that many drinks.
No.
But she's doing her thing, and I would that looks like a lot of fun. And so yeah. All right, so that's a look in the window of the studio at what you've been doing, and a look out at Hallowell. And I think we may work on this and come up with more, but it's always great to catch
And you're
up
coming
with
up
you.
soon, right? Coming up to
I will
Maine.
be coming up, and I hope that maybe we'll be able to sit down together and do one of these
Oh, that would be
in your
nice.
studio. And then if that, and perhaps this summer we can just be actually literally sitting in the studio window.
Yeah, that'll be nice. We'll sit in the window, back window, front window. Yeah, it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so Michel-Paul and Hallowell, Dave from away.
Bye, Dave. It's good talking to you.